what is God's plan towards his people during times of hardship. First of all, you must understand that hardship is not new. All through the Bible, there were times of hardship. And can I tell you something? It was in these times of hardship that God sorted his people out. So today I want to talk about what to do and what to know in times of hardship. If you look at the Bible, there were separate times God mentioned famine and what he asked his people to do. And that's what I want to discuss today. First and foremost, we look at the time where there was famine in the time of Abraham. And then Abraham went down to Egypt. His instruction was to Japa, as we call it in our colloquial today. He japaed into Egypt and it benefited him. Because when he went to Egypt, he was singled out because of the beauty of his wife, and Pharaoh, the then king of the land, favored him. But for someone else, the direct son of Abraham, Japa didn't really work well for Isaac. You see, when Isaac was in famine, he wanted to Japa too, like his father. And then God appeared to him and said, "Don't go to Egypt. Stay in the land which I tell you of, and I will bless you in this land." There's also a man that did not ask the face of God. His name was Elimelech, and this man carried his family and japaed into Moab because there was hunger in the land. The truth of the matter is that this man died. His two children married after him. They both died, leaving his wife and his two daughters-in-laws. So clearly, Japa did not help this man. So there is so many instances in the Bible where you can ask to Japa or not to Japa, but one thing is paramount: the direction of God in the time of famine. There was a man called Elisha. He had a woman that was taking care of him. This woman was so close to him, and this woman had wealth, the Shunammite woman. So when there was famine in the land of Israel, not before the famine started, before the famine even started, Elisha warned the woman, said, "The Lord has called for a famine. Leave this place with your family." And the woman left. And when the famine was over, the woman came back at the right time and regained her lands and everything that was on those lands the duration of the time she was away. That means we have discussed two different sets of people. One japaed, it worked for them. Another one, it did not work for them. What am I trying to say here? When things are tough, first thing you must understand is that the grass is not greener on the other side. A lot of people make these mistakes and they feel that if I go to Europe, per se you're in Africa, things will be better for me. It's not really that, because some people have gone to Europe and they are ashamed of the work they are doing. They just come on FaceTime and try to brag with one or two things, but they are practically ashamed. I heard of the case of a doctor in Africa that had 2 hospitals. He sold the 2 hospitals and traveled to Europe to become a prison warden, a gate man. That doctor will never forgive himself. For you to own 2 hospitals in Nigeria and you sell them just to Japa. So what do we do? The first thing you need to know, in time of famine, you need light. When I mean light, I don't mean like electricity. I mean revelation. As a Christian, once you notice that famine has hit, you need light. First, what kind of light are we talking about? Revelation of what to do, divine direction, or something from the scriptures. I'll give you an instance. If you look at the case of the famine in Egypt, God sent the message to Pharaoh. Then he gave the revelation of what to do to Joseph. So if there was no Joseph, if there was no revelation, if there was no light, the whole world would have perished. So the first thing you ought to look for is revelation. Now that brings me to the second thing in family. You need a prophet. One of the things you notice in famine is God sends a man. If there is no man, then there's no manna. You need your man to find your manna. For instance, the case of the famine in Egypt, it was solved by the man called Joseph. And then if you look down the line, you see that the case of the famine in Israel was also solved by a man called Elisha in 2 Kings chapter 6 and 7. Elisha was the one that said, by this time tomorrow there will be abundance. Many people don't understand that the Bible says, whosoever believeth the prophet shall prosper. 2 Chronicles 20:20. In times of famine, I have seen people go to the extreme and say, we don't need a prophet, we don't need a man. The truth of the matter is God cannot speak to everybody. The reason God will not speak to everybody is because God is a God of order. Now imagine if a voice from heaven came and nobody knew who they were talking to. Imagine that God just starts saying, hello, in this time of famine from heaven, I am sending this, go to so and so and so place. It doesn't work like that. God will speak to a man for the people. So in the time of famine, you must find out prayerfully, align yourself with ministers that are speaking in that time. God will always prepare a man. You see, the Bible says God will do nothing except he reveals his secret to his servant the prophet. So there is someone that God has told what is going to happen or what will happen. Imagine the case of Elisha. Elisha knew ahead and warned the Shunammite woman to leave that place with her husband. Or is it the case of David? The Bible said there was famine in Israel for 3 years. And David inquired of the Lord, and God said, because of Saul and because of his bloody house. So every time there is hunger, it is not just to jabber. You need to first of all look for revelation. You can do it yourself. Most times, just locking yourself up for 2 to 3 days in your house to find out where to go will save you from a lot of issues. During the COVID, I wanted to invest some money, and the money was with me, and I was trying to invest it so seriously because I didn't know COVID would hit. And then everywhere I went to make this investment, I was rescinded. They turned me back, and it was so embarrassing to me. In fact, let me go ahead and tell you. I wanted to get, what they call an Uber, a boat, a car, just put it back on the roads, Why am I telling you the exact business? Because at that time, it was booming so well. So I wanted to get one for myself. And there was this guy I paid for. He took my money in. Immediately the money landed in his account. Guess what? It was hell with the car. The car I wanted to buy from him started developing faults that were not there. And then there's this other guy, I went to test the car. Somebody discouraged me as I was living there. Somebody came, paid for the car. The final thing was, I didn't get the car. I was being confused why I didn't get this car. 2 to 3 weeks later, shut down all over the world, hit. If I've gotten a car, it would have been parked in my house. And the money that I used to get that car was the money I was to use to sustain myself and my family for the months which there was a lockdown. So God always knows what's going to happen when it's going to happen. And then if you don't go for revelation, you run the risk of becoming a victim of the time of famine. In the book of Job, he said, in the times of famine, he will redeem your soul from death. So go for light. You can separate yourself fast and say, Father, things are hard. If you must jump out, he will be the one to tell you, go here. Secondly, seek anointed men of God that are teaching these things. I know that a lot of men of God have come under scrutiny and people are running away from the prophetic, but understand this truth, that without the authentic, there cannot be a fake. So it doesn't matter if there are fakers all over town. If you prayerfully ask and use your spirit to discern, you will see the right men of God. I hope this has blessed you in making your decision whether to jump out or not. I know there is famine all over the world. The grass is not greener on the other side. Spend time with God to ask for direction. God bless you.